them frightened, fast them boy a run. Come here, girl. Weirdo. What I want. Done with that. Dirty one. Don't it matter on. Bass a lick you. Make it clap.
Hey everyone, my name's Jana. I'm the owner of Choreography, and today I wanted to talk with Fenton here. Caitlin, why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself?
Hi guys, like Jana said, my name's Caitlin. Just a little background about me. I grew up here in Denver, went to Rock Canyon High School and danced on Rock Canyon Poms for 4 years. Then ended up going to University of Memphis to dance for Memphis Pom, and then danced in the NBA for the Memphis Grizzlies, so kind of been all over the block.
So tell me a bit about why you chose Memphis out of all schools.
Yeah, so well, Memphis was one of the schools that I was looking at that offered dance scholarships, and that was very important to me because I'm coming from Denver. I needed a little extra help to get out of state. So I ended up going to Memphis, tried out, and they offered me a dance scholarship. So right away I was like, yes, sign up. Sign up for that.
So obviously you saw a bunch of different schools, you got the scholarship, which tipped you in the right direction, but tell us about what was different about Memphis when you got there and you got settled in and met the team.
Yep. So for me, I was, coming from here to a different state, I was 18, like not knowing anyone really going to Memphis. So a big thing when I had my visit, I guess, was everyone was super family oriented. Like when you're on a college dance team, you're gonna be with them for a long time. So everyone was very, very, very nice. They showed me all around. I got to watch actually one of their practices before I made that decision. It was just very welcoming. Now, it was welcoming, but it was also the first day of practice was like a complete shock to me because, that's like the real deal. You're in the big leagues by that point. So it was tough to kind of get my head wrapped around being on Memphis Pom. At that point, they had won 12 national championships. So it was huge, but it made me like who I am today. So it was good. It was a good experience.
Nice. Okay, so you mentioned the 12 national titles. So how many titles did you win when you were on the team?
So I won 2. My sophomore year and my junior year, we won hip hop nationals back to back. And then my junior year, we were Team USA. So we got to go to Worlds, which was amazing.
So that obviously takes an immense amount of dedication, work ethic, and definitely a whole set of athleticism that you can't even tap into in certain sports and areas. But let's say you had to pick 3 things that stood out to you as far as what made you a national title winning team versus other teams you've either observed or been a part of, or other years maybe you didn't win the title.
I would definitely say, well, you pretty much said it with dedication. We put dance first. So classes were great and we had to get on top of our grades because that was a requirement to be on the team as well. But it was always practice. We would run 2 miles before every practice. So being in shape, eating right. Our practices were about 4 hours, just depending on if we had a game that day, if we didn't. It was basically a full-time job in college, so it was like you were either in it to win it or you are off, you got to either commit to it or not. So definitely like dedication, hard work as far as like fitness routine and kind of getting that lifestyle change. What helped me was I lived with 3 of my teammates, so the factor of being like family oriented and really like supporting each other was huge. And it was also cool because my coach Carol Lloyd was on the team before, so she had gone through everything that we were all doing too, like even times 10 in her day, because she had won 12 before we came on. So it was awesome to see go through all of that process that she had once led before. So it was kind of like an honor to be on her team.
Right. So dedication, being able to stay fit, committed to your lifestyle and supporting it. What would be the second thing that you think stands out for a championship winning team?
So I would probably say if I could tell anyone this, like dancers in college now, it would be to not worry about other teams. I'll only focus on yourself. So obviously being at college nationals, you're going to have a top rivalry. Memphis had a good rivalry with a lot of schools, which is great. It's healthy competition, but you have to think about you're Memphis Pom, this is your style, this is your technique, this is why we do things the way we do, and kind of get in that mindset that when you come to practice, your only focus is yourself, your teammates, your coach, like the why around the team is in Memphis, it's not over other teams. And obviously it's hard to go into a competition and not look at these schools because they're all amazingly talented, but the mindset of going to that level and being on that level is you have to only focus about yourself.
Right.
So that was huge for us.
Yeah, I mean, I think tons of coaches would agree. They tell their teams all the time,
Yep.
don't compare. I tell my kids, comparison is poison,
Right.
it's cancer, you need to just focus on you and be confident.
Right.
So dedication, kind of the mentality and focus, being able to like filter out competition and focus on you and your team.
Yeah.
What would be like the third top thing that separated you from any other teams?
Committing to it, like Memphis grew me in such a way that where I am today, I would have never been without that team. So I think like taking that as a step to what you want to be in the future too is really like committing to it. Now, Memphis gave me the toughest skin I have, and that's how I am today, which is great because it grew me as a leader. But I was challenged my first 3 months for sure, and I went back and forth if I wanted to do it, if I didn't. It was like the hardest 3 months of my life, but I mean, you have to commit to it, and that first year we only lost by 0.2, so it was like you have to make a decision of if you're in it to win it and you want to do this, then like balls to the wall, do it. Because a lot of times girls want to dance at college nationals and they want to do this, but they're often thrown off at the fact like, oh, this big time school, this big team, like they do all this crazy stuff. But I mean, it's like another family. For me, that was so important to be coming from Denver going there. So I think once I like put it in the mindset of like, yeah, I can do this. Like I'm born to do this. Like I made the team. I got a scholarship for a reason. So just commit fully to it.
Okay, so we kind of talked about what it would take to be a national winning team, but talk to us about what it would be like on a day-to-day basis.
Yep.
What's a typical day in practice?
So typically practices were like from 1 to 4 or 1 to 5. So we would have all of our morning classes and then we would go to practice. To start off at practice, we would run 2 miles. So that was like our cardio session, getting it in right before we even did any dancing. So we would run, we would go in, do abs, do like toning moves, and then start dancing. So we would always prep with our like minis, all of our game day stuff, depending if we had a basketball game or a football game. We would get all of that out of the way, and then we would hit it hard with choreography. So we would do hip hop, clean sections, run through that. We're very trick oriented on that team too. So we did a lot of like trying out new tricks, tumbling. We did a lot, which helped. I had a tumbling background. I did gymnastics for 12 years. So it was great for me to be able to do a lot of tricks. And then we would run Poms. So same thing. Pom, we had our weights first. We did everything with weights to get our arms toned, and then we moved to like full out. We would do it in groups. It was a long day. Sometimes we would have a 6 a.m. practice if we had a game at noon. Nationals was no joke.
So because you have to be so amazing and you got a scholarship,
Yep.
tell us a little bit about what the audition process was like. How long is it? What is expected?
Yep.
What should someone who's looking to go to college and dance at an elite school be preparing for?
Well, back in my day, it was, I think the auditions are a little different now, but when I tried out like my first couple, well, I guess all my 4 years, it was pretty much one day. So it was, you get there, you do ABC routine, you do technique, you can then bring a solo to show off your best skills, you can wear whatever, and then they collaborate, and then you get a call later that night. I mean, number one, if you have a dream to do it and be on that team and even experience that, like 100% go for it, because that's something that you'll regret later if you don't go after something that you want to do. That I specifically remember, I was a senior in high school, and I would always look up Memphis Poms like nationals routines like on the computer, and I had always wanted to go there. Like the second I saw them do all of these hip hop routines at nationals, just blowing people's faces off, I was like, that's where I want to go. So immediately did all the research I possibly could, go to the website, I emailed the spirit director, I emailed the coach. Like I was like really curious about everything.
Okay, so we established that Memphis is amazing. It takes a lot of dedication and drive to even be a part of that team.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about the coach and what to you, impacted you, what separates her from other people who have influenced your life.
So Carol Lloyd is the coach, and even when I say her name, I get chills because she is so like famous in the city of Memphis for building just kick butt programs. Carol danced for the University of Memphis too, was captain as well. So she knows what it takes. She won numerous national championships, so that was always her main goal, which was exciting for us because, as a coach, you want a coach to want it as much as you do. And it's nice to like, she went through it before, so her goals and her, like all the stuff that she put us through, all the running, all the like tough practices that we hated. We won 2 times back to back, so it was awesome. I mean, that's like, she's doing it for a reason. And I was for sure intimidated by her my first year. I was a little freshman coming from Denver, like not knowing what I was getting into. But she whipped me into shape real quick, and I thank her for that, for sure. I don't think I would be where I am today without like her guidance and her pushing me to like do my best and try out for other teams and whatnot. So it's awesome. She's great. Mm-hmm. She's still to this day coaching Memphis Poms, so
right,
she's big time.
Well, we had talked before. I mean, in case you hadn't noticed, Caitlin is actually like my best friend.
Hi.
We had talked before a little bit about, we're both coaches.
Yep.
We had talked about this Memphis, mystic legend to me because I've never been there, but I know how incredible that team is.
Yeah.
And we had talked about kind of the importance of being intimidating, because you're able to still hold the respect of your team and be able to make demands that everyone can follow, versus a coach that sometimes has a struggle with maybe not being liked or not having their decisions well received. Mm-hmm. So I guess if there was one thing you could say to Carol about her approach or how much you like appreciated that about her, what would you say?
Oh my gosh, put me on the spot. She really has like shaped my dance career. I would say thank you for being such a hard ass on me. Can I say hard ass? But
sure.
A hard ass. She was tough on me, specifically on me too, because I was not from that area, and she knew that if she could push me as hard as she did, I would become a next level of greatness, I guess. So thank you for that. Thank you for giving me tough skin. And we're great friends to this day, and I think that that's very important. I go to her for advice for coaching stuff. I went to her for advice for, Grizzlies, like trying out for Grizzlies. Just picking her brain always and getting her opinion on stuff was always like a big thing for me too, because that's a relationship that you want. If one of your girls from high school wants to go to Memphis, you have a great relationship already. So that was important too. But yeah, she's still kicking butt in Memphis, and for sure kicked my butt all 4 years. So thank you for that.
And that, I think, is just important for all the coaches out there to hear, that you're going to get thanked in the future for being that tough nail that pushes and drives and expects nothing less than greatness. I think a lot of times coaches are like, well, it's a thankless job. Sometimes you never hear thank you. But I think you often are afraid that if you upset a child by pushing them to be better, that you will be unliked or unappreciated, and I think oftentimes it's the opposite. So
there was never a time that, I'm sure we all talked bad about, your coaches at some point in time if they pissed you off or whatever, but there was never a time that Carol was like disrespected by us, or like she sent out a text message, you do whatever she says. There was not like I have class, I'll be late. Like, you're not late for practice. You show up 30 minutes early to run. Like, there's no that was already set when I got there as a freshman. So the next 4 years, and then even being a captain my last year, it was like, look, this is Memphis Poms. You don't mess around on here. So it was cool. It was cool to see that like evolution of the team and being a leader on it at the end. It was awesome.